Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Les recuerdo por favor a quienes están que elijan en este momento en el canal de interpretación la opción de su preferencia. Español, si quieren ver toda la charla en el idioma español, o inglés, si prefieren escuchar la charla en el idioma original, en el que nos va a hablar nuestra invitada del día de hoy. Entonces, en este momento voy a pasar a español. Ok, bueno, pues estamos muy contentos de que estén todos nuevamente aquí. Gracias por aceptar la invitación de estar en este evento de Mujeres y Agilidad Empresarial Summit 2021 que estamos organizando entre las empresas Innovus Business School y Agility Changes. Mi nombre es Sandra Arias y hoy es el día 3 de nuestro summit. Hoy tendremos la conferencia de Business Agility a través del liderazgo y pues estamos muy felices de que todos ustedes estén aquí. También quiero presentarles a Susana Esparza, quien viene de IC Agile, que es una organización que se ha encargado de llevar la agilidad organizacional alrededor del mundo. Es mucho más que una organización que se encarga de generar conocimiento y acreditaciones, se está encargando realmente de trabajar en que la agilidad organizacional permee en las organizaciones y cumpla su propósito, que es generar valor en cada organización y de seguro. Ese es uno de los motivos por los cuales ustedes están aquí el día de hoy. Entonces, Susana, bienvenida y muchas gracias por ayudarnos a hacer este contacto con nuestra invitada del día de hoy.
Gracias, Sandra. Estoy súper emocionada de estar aquí representando a IC Agile. Como Sandra dice, nosotros estamos muy involucrados en la parte de transformación y traer aprendizaje transformacional a las organizaciones. De alguna manera, si quisiera decir un poco como nosotros pensamos que organizaciones y su liderazgo tienen la increíble oportunidad de crear un espacio que inspira a sus personas a crear un futuro mejor. Nosotros desarrollamos programas de aprendizaje transformacional que encienden cambios necesarios para traer agilidad empresarial, creando culturas de empoderamiento y centradas al ser humano. Organizaciones miembros como Agility Changes y como Agility Health, ¿verdad? Ellos traen esas experiencias de aprendizaje y transformación a las empresas y comunidad. Ahora, hablando de agilidad empresarial y de mujeres increíbles en liderazgo, es mi honor introducir a Sally, quien va a ser nuestra presentadora hoy.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. Is it good evening? Is that the right? It's pretty evening, or is it daytime? Christian.
Noche.
Yeah, so
Así
it's good.
es.
It's good evening for sure. Thank you so much. It is my pleasure and it's my honor to be in this Women in Business Agility Conference with my wonderful friends here at IC Agile and all of you. I'm Sally Elatta. I am the founder and CEO of a wonderful company called Agility Health. And I'm going to share with you today a little bit about what is business agility? Why are organizations moving in this direction? What is the role of leadership, right? You as leaders, women or men, what is our role in moving organizations forward? And how can we think about business agility beyond just agile? So yes, we'll talk about agile and we'll talk about what does agile look like, but I really want you today to open up your mind to what does business and enterprise agility look like. So I'll share my screen and we will get started. Enabling business agility through leadership agility is the topic. So a little bit about my background. I have been in the industry for many years. I started in the software development world. I was an architect for many years, and about 12 years ago is when I started Agile Transformation Incorporated. We've changed the name since then because we really feel now the world is focused on enterprise and business agility, and Agile being one of the tools in that journey. We are known for Agility Health, which is our measurement platform. We're known for Agile Videos, which you might get access to later, which is our learning library. And our business agility model. I'm also the founder of Sudan Next Gen. This is a nonprofit organization that I've created about 2 years ago to help transform my country in Sudan and Africa and leapfrog it into the future after the recent revolution. So we'll skip right into what does business agility mean to you? So in order for you to participate with me here, I'd like for you to go to this page. I want you to go to slido.com on your mobile phone. So everybody take out your phone and go to slido.com, and it's going to ask you to enter in a code. And the code that you're going to enter in is 650894. 650894. When you enter in that code, slido.com, 650894, so the message is going to say, what does business agility mean to you? In Spanish or in English, I want you to tell me, not agile. I'm talking about your business has achieved agility. What does that mean to you? Describe to me a business or a nonprofit that has achieved agility. Go ahead and submit your responses now. Flexibility. Scalability. Wonderful. You don't have to put in the number. Once you get in here, you can now put your response. Nimbleness. Nimbleness means the ability to move quickly and be flexible. Efficiency. I can read a little bit of Spanish. That one was efficiency. Better results. We want to achieve better results. We want to achieve effective communication. I like that one too. I love the one about value. Deliver actual value. Those are excellent. Giving the right value. So instead of me working really hard and giving you something and then you saying it's not what you want, from the very beginning, I give the market exactly what it's looking for. Prototyping. Thank you for somebody who says that. So prototyping is the ability to test something quickly, show it, get feedback. Wonderful. Collaboration. And it looks like efficiency is definitely one that's big over here. Wonderful. I love what you guys have come up with over here. Oh, I like win-win. That one's also new. Thank you. Win-win solutions. Okay. So coming back over here, I wanted to give you just a simple definition that I created a couple years ago, and Evan Laybourne really was my collaborator. And where did we come up with this definition? Honestly, it's hundreds of people that we asked the same question. This was sort of the summary of what everybody said. The ability to adapt to change. So business agility is the ability to adapt to change, learn and pivot, deliver at speed, and thrive in a competitive market. Because gone are the days where big companies eat small. Today, fast companies eat the slow. And your ability to learn and deliver faster than your competitors may be your only competitive advantage. So this is very important to think about. This is not just about agile. We are talking about enabling true business agility. And think about what happened to all of us with COVID and how each one of these parts of the statement became true. We had to adapt to change. Everybody had to work online. We had to change our business models. We had to learn very quickly and pivot. But everybody in the organization was aligned around common goals, which is why the company became so nimble and organizations changed so quickly. One of our customers is the Federal Reserve Bank here in the United States. And they said, the PPP program, you know, it's the program that the US government has released to help small businesses survive. They had something similar to it every year, but only 2,000 people apply for it. And they said within 3 weeks, they had to take it out to 20 million. So imagine what kind of changes they had to make to their system. So in a few weeks that they would scale that quickly. But that is what business agility is really about. So what is the value of business agility? There is a wonderful report that we publish with the Business Agility Institute, which is a wonderful partner to please check out. And in that report, which you can download from here, it talks about increased operational efficiency. So you're definitely going to cut costs and be more efficient, improve customer relationships, greater transparency and higher employee engagement, increase market share and faster turnaround times. I think if you are an executive, or if you're trying to convince your executive that you need to look into business agility and get serious about it, this would be a wonderful report. It's very professionally done to download and share with your executive team to help them begin to understand what is the world moving to. Now we're gonna play a short video that is a journey in business agility. It basically shares some of the common challenges and some of the common patterns that we're seeing. So I'm going to play the video. Hopefully everybody can hear it. And the translation is going to be at the bottom, but I've asked Christian if anything there doesn't sound right, to jump in and help everybody, okay? So here it goes. Hi, I'm Sally Elatta, founder of Agility Health. And here at Agility Health, we are very passionate about accelerating our customers' enterprise business agility journey by helping them measure what matters. As we've worked with many customers, we're starting to see some common challenges and common patterns and solutions. So what I wanted to do is just draw this picture for you. Let's call this demand and capacity. Let's look at it from this perspective. On the demand side, the first challenge you're going to hear from customers and enterprises is enterprise planning is painful. There is too much focus on work and output. So you'll see lots of initiatives, deliverables, epic stories, but not a lot of focus on outcomes. You'll also see that there's many competing business priorities that are coming in through silos, and everybody feels like their priority is number one. Another challenge is there's no discovery or validation of the ideas, and there's a lot of idea generators, multiple people with lots of great ideas. The problem that this causes is many of these ideas are actually duplicate. So you could have Joe and Adam and Jamie over here all asking for the same thing, but in different ways. As you go down through this funnel, you're going to realize that teams are not designed to optimize the flow of value. Teams today are all organized based on who reports to who. And so in order for you to get anything done, there's a lot of bottlenecks. There's a lot of shared service teams that are really over capacity. And there's a lot of handoffs and dependencies between them. As you come closer to the actual teams that get the work done, what you're going to see is they're overwhelmed. Teams are burning out. They will tell you they are buried in never-ending backlogs. The good news is by using Agile, we've started to organize our work a little bit better. So we have backlogs and we have cadences and we plan well, but it's still never ending. Teams have no time to be creative or to solve problems the right way. Like, remember those 3 different features that we're all asking for the same thing? Nobody has time to focus on that. So this is a summary of some of the problems that we're seeing. And one of my quotes here that customers like is, if you want flow, stop the flooding. So let's take a look at this picture in a different way. How could we redraw this? Again, let's look at demand, discovery, and then let's flow outcomes. So this funnel looks a little bit different in that at the beginning, I want to create portfolio teams. This is a missing gap that we have today. We built teams and we built teams of teams, but we have not yet structured portfolio management teams that could really organize the work at the very top of the funnel. Portfolio teams really should be planning based on outcomes. What are my 3-year outcomes? What are my 1-year outcomes? And what are my quarterly outcomes? Those 1-year outcomes will map to your initiatives and your epics, and those quarterly outcomes will map to your deliverables or your features. Make sure that these outcomes, as they come into this funnel, are going through discovery. The purpose of discovery is to validate your ideas before you invest a lot in actually delivering them. Are these ideas valuable? Are they feasible? Are they usable? Another way to think about the value of discovery is, can we test something? We call it test it, nail it, before we scale it. Test it, nail it, scale it. Some cool techniques for doing discovery would be following the Mobius loop by doing discovery and then delivery, or even leveraging things like the 5-day sprint, or just building some fun mock-ups and showing them to customers quickly and getting very rapid feedback so that you can begin to experiment before you actually build. Now let's come into the teams. How do I want to organize and design my teams? I want to organize my teams so they can flow outcomes. So whether they're business teams or technology teams, whether they're product or engineering teams,
And regardless of the reporting structure, we want to organize teams together in a virtual way so they can enable the flow of outcomes. To support this system that is designed to flow outcomes at the very top, we need leadership agility. We need to shift from the very directive style that we have today into more of enabling autonomy and delegating decisions down. We need to also invest in developing talent, because through this journey, you're going to see there's a lot of new roles that are going to be created, and a lot of roles that are today will need to shift, including the role of leaders. So developing talent and investing in growing our skills is another critical enabler. And when you enable the flow of outcomes across your enterprise, you will arrive at true business agility, where you are disrupting before you are disrupted. You become a learning organization, and you can thrive in a competitive market. Thank you for watching.
Wonderful. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to stop sharing because I want to come to you back in the chat. Give me your feedback from that video, from that message in the chat. You can type in English or in Spanish. What resonated with you? Have you seen any of those same patterns within your own organization? So I'm going to pause and just check here. What did you like? What resonated with you? True. Yep. Investing in talent is the biggest priority for almost all senior leaders and executives and CIOs, is building talent from within. That's wonderful. Cross-functional teams. Yep, creating cross-functional teams that can actually finish something without the handoffs. That's wonderful. I see lots of comments around talent. Is that right, Christian? You can keep reading. No, keep going. Yeah, I'm gonna, yeah, that's wonderful. And I am sending everybody here that video because many of you might want to share that with some of your own internal executives. It's a very easy way to explain, honestly, something that's very, very complicated. So yeah, you know, you're going to see a lot of what I'm going to talk to you about business agility relates to all of this together. It's a journey. It's not, you know, the final destination. It's not agile. There's so many elements, and leadership is at the heart of it. So I'm going to share my screen again and take you a little bit through this journey of business agility. So what does the journey look like? Well, it usually starts with team agility. Team agility is where you as an organization say, I want to build agile teams and I want to create high-performing teams. And so typically you're going to be, you know, learning about Scrum, learning about Kanban. You're going to create those cross-functional, cross-disciplinary team. You're going to install some of the agile tools so that you can plan and create a backlog and create sprints. And you're going to make sure that your workspace, whether it's physical, in person, or virtual, is conducive for agile. You're going to make sure everybody understands the agile ceremonies, the roles and responsibilities, all of that. That's really wonderful. And then the focus becomes on team agility, which is, hey, we've got several agile teams operating, they're starting to move forward, but how can I scale it? And that is when you start picking your favorite scaling method, and there's several out there. DevOps maturity, so that's when you're Okay, if I'm a technology company, I really need to look into DevOps or DevSecOps. I really need to make sure I have automation. I have continuous integration, continuous testing. I have a release pipeline that I can always be publishing and putting things out there. And that is also when you should be looking at leadership and culture. Now, you can look at leadership culture from the very beginning, and you should. What I'm telling you here is this is usually when the organizations start to realize the importance of looking at the manager role. Because now that you have multiple teams that are doing Agile, if you continue to use the traditional command and control style of leading them, you're not going to see the benefits of Agile, because we call it lipstick Agile. It's not real, it's just practices, but it's not behaviors. So focusing on leadership agility, especially for managers and leaders, is really critical. And then you'll see companies starting to really focus on organizational agility in this journey. And organizational agility is really around product maturity. You'll hear many companies say, we got to get out of the project way of working, which is start, stop. We got funded, do the project, end. And go more into a product development mentality. What is the vision for this product or the service that we offer? What is the roadmap? Who is our competition? Let me create a continuous stream of work that's going to be coming in to elevate this product. And let me formalize the role of a product manager and product management as a discipline in product discovery. Portfolio management is something that also becomes a focus, not the traditional PMO, portfolio management, but the more agile and lean. So you'll hear about modern ways of budgeting and financing, which is around capacity, not around projects. You'll hear about outcome-based planning and OKRs. You'll also hear about quarterly planning, not just yearly planning, related to portfolio management. Value stream structure means I need to reorganize my teams. Instead of this team functionally doing something, passing off to that team, and then begging the business team to give us their attention, and that back-end team has a different priority than our priority. Value stream structure says, what are your outcomes for this year? What are you trying to accomplish this year and next year? How can you identify all of the right teams, business, technology, customer experience, partners? It doesn't matter who the teams are. Make sure they are working together in a common unit. You don't have to change reporting structure. This is more of a virtual design. And that really becomes the focus, and so many companies are having this conversation today. And then last but not least, digital. In what way will I assess my digital maturity? How will we know if we're moving in the right direction? And how can we expedite our digital transformation? Customers are not going to come into your physical office anymore. Customers are going to want to do work with you online, on their mobile devices, in a lot of different ways. Have you thought about machine learning, AI, all of these emerging technologies? Operational agility is when you start to realize we got to get the rest of the business on board. We got to get operations, finance, legal, sales, marketing, and HR. HR is critical to the success of an agile and a business agility transformation. And our end result, obviously, is to achieve business agility, where we can anticipate our customers' needs, we can disrupt in the market before being disrupted, and we become a learning organization. I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are just some of the problems we are trying to solve today. You know, like in the video, you know, we are just competing business priorities, focusing so much on work, but not outcomes. You know, saying we're doing agile, you know, talking about the stand-ups and the sprints and the stories, but not necessarily thinking differently, not changing our leadership style, not tolerating, you know, giving feedback frequently and often, because I'm not going to see a final product. A lot of times our demand and our capacity is not aligned. Some teams will tell you we're burning out. Leaders are still very command and control. And then a lot of you mentioned talent development, because you've changed the way you're working. You now need scrum masters. You need managers that can develop people, not just solve problems. You need product owners that you didn't have before. And the business now has a new role to play as product managers or product owners. You need to create data scientists. That's a role. What about UX designers? Those are all roles that are so critical now in a digital age. And upskilling people and developing them quickly is exactly the focus area that a lot of companies have today. So companies always say, so where do I start? How do I, you know, where do I go? And so we built this several years ago. It's got to be about 6-7 years ago, which is looking at so many companies that are on this journey, we said, what are the capabilities that these companies are trying to create in order for them to achieve business agility? And so we centered them around 7 pillars. And this is one of our assessments within Agility Health. So we have a radar around this. And what does it do? It measures, have you invested in customer seat at the table, which is product management and product discovery? Did you invest in lean portfolio management, outcome-based planning and funding? Have you shifted your organizational structure and design? Did you adopt agile technology teams, scale it, but also bring it to business teams? Have you brought your leadership on the journey? Did you bring in leadership agility across your leaders? Have you transitioned the role of managers? And have you brought in that culture of agility, which is psychological safety, a culture where you can inspect and adapt and learn and pivot? Making it stick is really important. It is about building internal change agents, measuring and growing every step of the process, which is obviously why we created Agility Health, and then developing talent across the board. The 7th pillar is called technology agility, and that's the foundation pillar. So everybody here, whether you want it or not, in the future is going to be a technology company. Technology is going to drive your growth. And so fundamentally, do you have the right technical architecture and vision and foundation? So this specific model, we call it the enterprise business agility, and we have basically an assessment around it for organizations to measure where they are today in this journey and where is it that they need to focus. So I want to go back now to small agile, because there's many of you that are listening to me that might be like, okay, that's a lot. I just heard about agile, but that's a lot, because I just showed you enterprise agility. I showed you when an organization does this at scale. But I want to ask you, when I just say agile at the team level, that my teams are doing agile, what am I talking about? Can you describe that to me, just so that we can all level set? So go ahead, go to slido.com. And the question that's going to be published here is, what does agile mean to you if you had to describe your agile teams? Give you a few minutes. Slido.com, 650894 is the code if you are not there. Value oriented. So agile teams are all about delivering value. Check, C, yes. What else? Don't be shy. I know it's late and you're having your dinner probably. Awesome. I can read those. Adapt and embrace change. Wonderful. So very quickly, fail soon, fail cheap. I love that one. Thank you. We want to know quickly if something's not working. I don't want to wait until the end. We call it, you know, when everybody tells you the status of this project is green, 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 and then it turns red. We call that watermelon status. Everything looks green from the outside, but it's completely red from the inside. Flexibility, autonomy, adaptability. I love that. Let me scroll down and see. Continuous learning. Teams are organized. Let's see what else. Deliver the best for our clients. Communication across the team and avoiding impediments. Absolutely. Impediment management on a day-to-day basis. That's part of Agile. Christian, what is this one? This one. Trial and error. Self-sufficiency and self-organization. Great. Okay, awesome. You guys got it. So that's why I want to just make sure we quickly talk about Agile. I told you about enterprise and business agility. We're going to talk about Agile, and then I want to talk about leadership. You know, what's our role? So I love Susan Courtney. She was the CIO at Blue Cross Blue Shield in Nebraska. She's now the COO there. And she always used to say, Agile is not about Post-it notes or stand-up. Agile is a way of thinking. It's fundamentally changing and believing that we should be collaborative. We should adopt and respond to customers' needs instead of rejecting it and saying you're changing your mind too frequently. We should deliver value based on what's the highest business value. We should expedite the return on investment. We become very business driven as Agile teams. The traditional way, the traditional way is you have an idea, we gather requirements from you. 2-3 months. We hand it over to designers to design the solution, 2-3 months. We send it over to the team that's going to build it, 2-3 months. We send it over to the team that's going to test it, 2-3 months. Finally, we deliver it to you. What do you think happens when this is all said and done? Go ahead in the chat. And Christian, you'll have to translate for me. What happens when you go? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Wonderful. You guys get it. This is not a modern process. This is not an agile process. This is a very old school process that assumes that you've got a lot of money and that you're willing to spend a lot of time on these very big handoffs. Quite frankly, you're willing to take a big risk because you're making a lot of assumptions that whatever people gave you up front is going to be what they finally want. We all know that's not the world. The world changes too frequently. And there's something called Ikiwisi. Actually, I heard that from Ahmed Sidki, founder of IC Agile. Ikiwisi stands for I'll know it when I see it. Only when you show me, you start to show me something is when I'm like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Can you change that, please? I know I said red. No, I want blue now. So people need rapidly show me something so I can give you feedback. So what does Agile look like? Agile looks like, first, we got to get a backlog together. This idea that everybody can come to the team and ask them and tell them what to do, that's not going to work. We need a backlog, and we need that backlog to be prioritized and ranked. All of those people that we used to hand off work between them, we want them to come together and be a team, a cross-functional team. I don't want a team of BAs and analysts and a team of developers and a team of, I don't want that. I want a cross-functional team that is committed and was going to work together. We're introducing this role called the product owner, and that is the person that prioritizes the backlog, and we've got the scrum master, and that's the person that is the gatekeeper for this team, removes impediments, manages the process, facilitates it, make sure the team's on track. All those other people here that had so many ideas, they got to get through the product owner. You cannot come directly to the team and say, can you do this? Can you do that for me? They are stakeholders. So we'll keep them informed and engaged, but we will work in the right priority order. How does an agile team work? They work in sprints. Those sprints are 2 week, 2 week, 2 week. Most times now they're 2 week. They used to be 4 weeks, but many companies are moving to 2 week sprints. Within that sprint, there's a planning meeting, which is day one. How can I take those stories, whatever stories I committed to, and break them down into tasks and who is going to do what? Every day there's a daily stand-up meeting, a Scrum stand-up meeting where we ask who did what, are you stuck or not? At the end of the sprint, we demonstrate, did we get anything done? And then finally we end with a retrospective. Did that work? Should we make it better in the next sprint? Instead of waiting until the very end of the project to say, do a lessons learned, or what they call it, a project postmortem. Within Agile, we do it every single sprint. We ask what's working well, what can be improved. Okay, that is Agile. I just wanted to make sure for those of you that might be new, I just gave you the 5,000-foot view of enterprise business agility. Actually, I'm going to quiz you. There were 7 pillars of enterprise business agility. Go ahead in the chat. Just to make sure everybody's awake and not having dinner while I'm talking here, go ahead in the chat. Tell me, what are those 7 pillars, whatever ones you can remember, for enterprise business agility? There were 7 areas that will take you to the next level. What are those? Yes. Yes. Good. That's good. I'll remind you of them, actually. What I'll do is there are, hold on one second, let me just stop this over here so that I can take you to the right place. They are, the very first one is customer seat at the table, which is about product management. The second one is about lean portfolio management. The third one is organizational structure and design. Nancy got it. The fourth one is agile at all levels. The fifth one is leadership and culture. And the sixth one is sustainability, make it stick. And then the last one is digital transformation and making sure that from a technology perspective that you really are moving forward in the right direction. So thank you. I'm sorry that I'm going to keep coming back to you, but I just want to make sure. And this is that picture that I showed you with the 7 pillars I just sent to you here, in case, again, anybody's like, what? I want to remember that picture again. All right, let me now share my screen and let's continue to now talk about leadership and what is the role of leadership as we go through this journey. What is leadership agility? When we talk about leadership agility, it is the work of energizing, empowering, and enabling teams. Those words are very important. Energizing talks about your positive energy and that when change is coming, you know how to energize people instead of be afraid of change yourself, right? You as a leader, when we're going through so much change, you can't be the one resisting the change. You should be the one leading and helping calm down people's fears. Even if we don't know what's going to happen 2 years from now, I as a leader should motivate the team at least knowing what's coming up a year from now. What are we focused on for the next 6 months? Why is this important? So energizing is about telling the why. Why are we doing what we're doing? Why are we changing our ways of working? Please don't tell them, well, Agile is really popular right now. Every company is doing it, so we must do it as well. That's not leadership, right? That's just following others. You need to explain, we in our company have the following problems that are, causing us to be inefficient. We in our industry must compete in order for us to win. And these are competitors that are showing up. We have to win in this market in order for us to deliver to our customers. We have to deliver better value faster. So I'm just focusing on this word energizing because it means a lot. Empowering means letting go. It means trusting. It means delegating decisions down, not blindly trusting, right? We're not saying, ooh, like I'm just not going to make decisions anymore. But I really set the vision. I set acceptance criteria and boundaries, and I let the teams figure out how they're going to solve. I don't tell them what to do, how to do it, by when, just every single detail. You set the vision, you create acceptance criteria, you let the teams figure out the how. Enabling is also part of empowering to rapidly and reliably deliver business value. So this is adapted from the Adaptive Leadership from Jim Highsmith. I really loved it, so I like to always use this definition. A high performance culture is where everybody has clarity. Who are we? How should we behave? What is our cultural values and norms? And what do you want me to focus on right now and why? So the role of, there's a wonderful book, if you have not read yet, it's called The Advantage by Patrick Lencioni. And he talks about over communicating clarity and the leader's role in bringing clarity into who we are, what is important right now, why is it important, and saying that every month if you have to, is one of the most important roles of leadership. Focus, allowing people to finish what they start. Instead of me as a leader giving you task number 1, and then tomorrow say, oh, John, can you also do number 2? Oh, team, this is another priority now. Can you do number 3? That means that you are creating chaos. So as a leader, in what way can you make sure you don't keep giving people new stuff until they finished? Or if you are going to add something, let them know what you're going to remove and have that conversation around capacity, because I know business changes all the time. I face it every day, but the conversation around prioritization and capacity planning needs to be weekly. Right? Weekly. Some people know how to come back to you as a leader and say, hey, I'm overwhelmed. You keep giving me stuff and that, John over there is calling me and, Samantha's calling me. I don't know what to focus on. But some people will not talk to you. They will be frustrated and they'll just leave their job, or they'll get sick, but they'll never say anything because they believe they have to get it done, or maybe they're going to get fired if they don't. So this concept of focus is really important. And then predictable execution, which Agile does for you, is really making sure that every 2 weeks we are delivering value. Every 2 weeks we're moving it to production, or maybe even faster than that, weekly or daily. And of course, having a healthy culture in between. All right, this is kind of your last exercise. What does healthy leadership versus unhealthy leadership look like? So let's go to Slido again. And I'm gonna start this next one over here. So let's go to healthy. I want you to think of really inspiring leaders that have truly built high-performing teams. How did they behave? What were they? Think of real people. Please don't make this hypothetical. Think of real leaders that have inspired you. How would you describe them? Empathy. I love that one. They feel what you feel, right? That's what empathy is about. Christian, I'm gonna need you for that. I think it's promoting change, visionary, bringing confidence. I love that. Team is first over everything. Team is the most. Authentico. I think that means authentic. I love that one. It's about being real, speaking from the heart. Teaching by example. Thank you for that one. Listening and being open to keep learning. Don't think that you have arrived as a leader. None of us have arrived. Bring confidence. Show that you're confident, but I would say build confidence as well. Build confidence in your own people. Listen to everyone's ideas. I love those. Those are wonderful. What is this one? Empower. I could have seen that. Yep. Empowerment. Yep. Empowering the teams. Love that. I think this one's creativity. Okay. All right. Let me take you to the next one. What does not healthy leadership? Think about leaders that have not motivated you, that have brought you down, that have made you not worthy, that you don't believe have actually helped the team perform. Maybe, honestly, delayed the team from performing or held back the team's performance. How did they behave? How do those leaders show up when they are exhibiting unhealthy behavior? And all of us, by the way, sometimes shift between. None of us are perfect, so please don't think we're all healthy. Sometimes when we're upset or sometimes when there's high pressure, we shift to the behaviors that are unhealthy leadership behaviors. Wanting to approve every single thing you do, lack of control over emotions, they can get angry, micromanagement. Oh, I love that one. So they're not connecting you with the big vision. Why are we doing what we're doing? How about this one, Kristen? Micromanagement. They're mad all the time. And one of the videos, when you guys go to agilevideos.com, one of the videos I really want you to watch is around servant leadership. And I'm going to just make that ready for you here so you can see it. And it's open, so you'll be able to watch it right away. Just use that. We'll show you that at the end. But there's a trial that we're giving you. But the video around servant leadership is one of my favorite because it talks about the roots of command and control. It's this one, part 3. What is servant leadership? There are 3 roots to command and control. 5 actually. Sorry. One of them is perfectionism. I'm a perfectionist. So you have to do as I say, and it has to be exactly how I want it done. The other one is my opinion is right and you're wrong. So we call it the smartest person in the room. So they command and control you because they believe that they know better than you. And most of the time, they're very logical people. They're very analytical people. Number 3 is the I don't trust you, which is, and sometimes they're not bad people. They're saying, I care about quality. And you're just brand new, or you haven't done this before, or you've made mistakes, and I just don't trust you. So I'm going to have to look over what you're doing because I don't want you to fail or make a mistake or make me look bad. And then the other 2, the last 2 are around control, the love for power and control. And even in the Middle East, I'm originally from Sudan. in Africa. And so in African culture and Middle Eastern culture, some people become managers and leaders so they can get the big office, so they can command people and tell them what to do, so they can, you know, be controlling. I mean, we really have seen people to where it's almost like, what happened to you? I mean, they gave them a raise, gave them a new title, and they talk differently. They don't even talk like regular people anymore. And I think that's because they don't understand leadership. They think it's about power. So these are all roots of command and control. And I want to be honest, all of us have some parts of all of this. They just show up at different levels of maturity. So make sure you watch that video. How much more time do I have? Is it about 10 minutes? I want to make sure I'm on track.
Hello.
Hi, Sandra.
10 minutes perdón, estoy en español. 10 minutos, 15 minutos, lo que quieras extenderte, estamos súper disponibles para ti y luego seguir con las preguntas. Aprovecho este receso para decirles, vamos a estar muy atentos a las preguntas. Por favor, inclúyanlas en la caja de preguntas y respuestas que encuentran en el menú inferior de Zoom para que posterior a la charla estemos conversando un poco más con Sally acerca de esos cuestionamientos o esas preguntas que están teniendo ustedes. Los vemos por ahí en la caja de preguntas y respuestas. Ya nos vemos.
Sounds great. So you all mentioned so many of these, telling people how to do everything in micromanaging, top-down decision-making, no clarity on vision, shuffling people around, moving people between priorities, command and control, tactical, not strategic. So these are leaders that it's all about today, but they don't think about the future. So solving problems in a very tactical way. Status quo. We've been doing this for the last 10 years. Why are you here trying to change it? Or we tried that before and it's never going to work. Unrealistic deadlines and expectations. So, you know, why can't you finish the 10-page report by tomorrow? So what if you have to put in extra overtime, right? So that's definitely unhealthy behavior. All of these, and this one's really important, planting weeds, not seeds. Let me explain that to you. Part of our culture in our company is we want to make sure we are planting seeds and removing weeds. Weeds are negative stories that you tell about somebody else in the company or about the strategy of the company. So we're in a big meeting, we're all talking about Agile, we're talking about DevOps, we're talking about new ways of working, and you just nod your head. And so you look like you're accepting it, but then when you walk out of that room, you go and you plant weeds. That's never going to work. We're wasting our time. Why should we adopt Agile? Blah, blah, blah. That is called planting weeds. Or you go talk about somebody behind their back, or a leader or a coworker or somebody, you know, we, IT, do this well. It's our business partners that don't know what they're doing. Or the business people say, well, we are always under pressure and we have to meet customer needs, and IT is like the black hole. They never get anything done. These are all called weeds. And as a leader, you have to be very careful how you speak because you are a role model. If you speak negatively about a strategy of the company, or if you speak negatively about the people, you're basically leading others to do the same. Healthy leadership behaviors, you've already mentioned so many of them. So I'm just going to see if there's a couple over here that maybe you did not mention. Maintaining focus, we talked about that. This one, removing obstacles quickly. So once I know that my team is struggling and they actually say, hey, leader, we have an obstacle, my job as a leader and as a management team is to always ask the teams, what obstacles do you have? And then make sure that we're removing them. We use Agility Health to do that. We use our own platform. We do the team health assessments and we ask the teams, hey, what are you going to do to get better as a team? But what do you want from your leaders to help you with? And so we grab that data and we say, look, we've got 10 teams here that are all telling you the same thing, which is our automation systems are down, or our technology infrastructure is not right, or we are not designed cross-functionally the right way, or our relationship with our business owners is not healthy. We don't have a product owner. So that is what we mean by removing obstacles, but using data, like what is everybody trying to tell me, as a way of making those decisions. Is there anything else here that really resonates with you? Let's see. Sure, yeah. Okay, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. So our next topic is managers. Where do managers focus today? Well, as a manager, you are asked to be a subject matter expert, which means that you provide the expertise, you solve the problems, you transfer knowledge to others. You're the smart guy, you're the one or woman, and you're the one that has to tell people how to do what they do. As a manager, you're also asked today to do work management and firefighting. So manage the tasks, make sure the resources are allocated, move people around between priorities, tracking of the work, and firefighting. Any impediments that happen day to day, you got to resolve them. As a manager, you are asked to do process improvement, which is make sure that things are getting better, find process inefficiencies, provide the right tools, create standards and best practices, and provide training and education for people. Finally, as a manager, you're asked to do people development. You're asked to do one-on-one meetings, grow people and develop them, look at their talent and their career options, and do performance management. Let me ask all of you, in the future, where teams are more agile and more empowered, where do you think we want managers to focus? Which of these four do we want managers to keep paying more attention to in the future? Let's see your answers in the chat. Wonderful. Process improvement. Is that what they said, process improvement? Oh, it is. Okay, sorry, I wasn't looking at the. So those exactly are the two areas we want managers to focus in the future: people development and process improvement. We don't want them to be the subject matter expert because we want them to build subject matter experts within the teams. We don't want them to do work management and firefighting because the product owner is going to prioritize the backlog for the team and the scrum master is going to manage the work getting done. So we want managers to shift from doing the work to enabling teams to deliver value. So some of the things I always like to talk about is when you look at an agile team has a product owner, it has a scrum master, and it has a solution lead. The product owner owns the business vision of what should this team work on and why. It has the scrum master, who's the process facilitator. It usually has one or several solution leads. Those are the people that you have to go to when you're wondering, how do we get this done again? If a team is all experienced and they've been together for a long time, then they're all leads. They might not need a solution lead, but for teams that are getting started or using something new, adopting new technology, they definitely need to have, some people call them a tech lead or a solution lead, one or two people they can go to that knows the how. And so the people manager used to do all of those three things. They used to be the solution leader. They'd prioritize the backlog. They'd manage the work. And now we're saying, we don't want you to do that. We want you to coach and develop people, remove obstacles, develop talent, lead communities of practice, and form strong teams. So think about how much this is going to change the role of leadership, coaching and developing people. There are a lot of managers that are in their role today, and they don't like to coach and develop people. They are not wired that way. They became managers because they were really good at doing what they did before. They were great individual contributors. And so doing the work, but coaching and developing people is not their strength. So they might shift away from that role. Removing obstacles, leading communities of practice, and that's where talent development will happen. Assessing your current talent gaps. You'll see within Agility Health, we also now include all of the radars for role-based assessments. How are my scrum masters doing? How are my product owners doing? How are my leaders doing? That's actually become extremely popular lately. Building strong, healthy teams, enabling business agility. That's strategic. That's not tactical. Right? This is not about day to day. This is moving the organization forward. This is one of the assessments that I just told you about. This is an assessment that can help you measure where am I today as a leader. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So we look at vision and strategy. Do I create a shared vision? Do I know how to build a strategy? Do I know how to define business outcomes and OKRs with clear metrics for success? Do I know how to lead execution by building cross-functional teams? Can I provide clarity on my priorities? Do I provide clear acceptance criteria, enable focus, and engage at the right level? As a leadership behavior, which is this purple part, do I seek feedback and receive it well, or do I get defensive and upset and fire you right away? Do I enable autonomy and help you make your own decisions? Do I know how to lead through change? And do I model, am I a role model for the desired culture? And then as a leader, what is the value that I deliver? Do I bring in customers' voice? Do I remove obstacles, build strong teams, and develop people? Think about, these are all of the competencies, as we call them in Agility Health, that help me assess where are my leaders today and where is it that they need to grow to become stronger leaders. But no leader is ever going to change until you answer this question for them. What's in it for me? Why should I change to this new ways of working? So I want to ask you in the chat, why do you think you and the other leaders in your company will have to adapt this new leadership style? Why not stay command and control? Why not stay traditional? What's in it for you? What's your value proposition? Let's look at the chat. And I don't know what I did, Christian, but the chat doesn't show up for me anymore. So I must have done something. Okay, now. I love it. It's true. You guys are awesome. You're amazing. Those are all of the why. Those are all of the what's in it for you. So I don't even have to say anything more. Honestly, those are exactly it. I mean, the world is changing. You're going to have to catch up. I mean, all of those roles are moving forward. You're going to learn. You're going to get better. You'll probably get promoted if you do this right. So we have learned that leadership transformation is a journey. It takes time. It's not a one-time class. We've learned that you almost have to create every quarter, every 3 months, a learning experience, a learning journey for leaders to go through. You definitely, this is why we have Agile videos, and I'll share with you access right now. You want leaders to learn on their own. You don't want to make people feel like if there's no training class, they're not going to learn. People have to start learning on their own. What does it mean to be an Agile leader? You want to start from the top. I went into companies where they just said, oh, transform my managers. But all the managers said, look, if my bosses above are not going to do this, then why am I going to do it? So we've learned that when we are trying to transform an organization, we work with the managers and the senior leaders all together so that they're all transforming. Create accountability, build a community, and measure leadership growth, like actually show over time that leaders truly are growing on this journey. Okay, this is the access that we are giving you. Everybody will have 14-day access to watch all and any of the videos on Agile videos, but the people that have submitted questions and that have submitted really great questions, Sandra, can you tell them we're going to be selecting? Is it 2 of them?
Correcto. Vamos a seleccionar 2 personas para darles un premio especial.
Yeah, and those people will have full access to the library for a full year, and you can learn as much Agile, and there's an entire new course on business agility that is actually for leaders and executives, so you will have full access to the library for a full year. We're really excited about that, so make sure, Trisha, I think, is here. If you can just send that URL again here for people to register and sign up. Those are all the slides that I had for you today. I really, really hope that you enjoyed my presentation and learned something from it. I will be taking questions. Trisha is also going to send you this evaluation form. If you do complete this evaluation form, we will send you the slide deck. So you'll be able to see all of these slides as well as a follow-up. I am ready to take questions.
Excelente, Sally, muchísimas gracias. No podemos estar más de acuerdo con este crecimiento que se requiere de los líderes y cómo nos has ayudado a reforzar este mensaje de que los líderes son llamados a enfocarse en nuevas dimensiones. Ya los resultados y la expertise deben empezar a confiar en que sus equipos están a cargo de ellos y que ellos son los responsables de generarlo y ellos ayudar a facilitar ese camino y ese crecimiento de las personas. Y hay varias personas y también los invito si alguien tiene alguna otra pregunta que nos las dejen en nuestro buzón de preguntas y respuestas. Las voy a leer en español y para que Cristian se las traduzca a Sally, ¿vale? Entonces, tenemos la primera de Adriana. ¿Qué nos recomiendas acerca del acompañamiento a los líderes para que gestionen de maneras ágiles? Estamos hablando de la capa directiva, que utilicen los eventos para su gestión. ¿Hay algo así como, hay algo que nos puedas recomendar? Ella misma nos pregunta, ¿una Agile Coach Enterprise pudiera ayudar a que esa capa directiva también utilice los eventos?
Sure, and who asked that question?
Adriana.
Adriana, and this is about how to get executives and leaders on this journey, right? And how to get, okay, what I do, Adriana, is one, I use that video, that 5-minute video that I showed you up front that talks about what is business agility and the journey to it. I typically make sure that I send that to them and I just say, hey, executives, leaders, we really think that it might be a good time for us to do a lunch and learn or a webinar around business agility and enterprise agility. But I want you to watch this video first and see if it's interesting for you. If you like some of the concepts that are there, then we want to create a 2-hour learning experience for you to learn about enterprise business agility, not just agile. I think one of the mistakes we are making is we are focusing too much on agile when you're speaking to executives and not business agility. And so I'm telling you, my experience is when I speak about agile, Scrum, you know, this method, Kanban, sprints, all that, that's way over their head. That's too detailed. They don't care about how you're going to execute. I'm not saying, you know, I've been in Agile for more than 20 years now, and I started my company called Agile Transformation. But what I'm telling you is when you're speaking to executives, they want to know about business agility. That video is going to resonate with you. Use it as a door opener to create a 2-hour seminar for them around what is business agility, and feel free to reach out to us. That's exactly, we have slide decks already on that, or create your own, but use that as a way to open up the door to have that conversation, and then keep giving them more and keep giving them more. You know, don't just make it a one-time event. Make sure you have a plan of what am I going to do next after that webinar, which is we normally do the assessment. We have them do a business agility assessment. Where are you today and where should you focus? All right, what's the next question?
Nos pregunta, este nos lo dejó como anónimo, pero dice, en los comportamientos sanos de los líderes, al eliminar siempre los obstáculos, ¿no incentivas que los equipos no busquen solucionar por su propia cuenta estos obstáculos? ¿No hace que haya una alta dependencia del líder?
Okay, very, very good question. When we are within Agility Health, we have a workshop called the Team Health Retrospective. And the team comes together every quarter, every 3 months, and they assess how are they doing as a team. And the team identifies what are the top areas they want to grow that are within their control. And so we always ask the team, identify 2 or 3 things that you have control over that you can improve. And so that's exactly where they start. And then in that same session, we say, identify one thing that is outside of your control that you need your manager or your leader to help you with, but it would really remove an obstacle for you. So I don't want you to just sit here and be like, well, we have so many problems, but it's our manager that has to solve all of them. The first thing we ask them is pick 3 things that you're going to do, and then pick one thing that you really believe if management helped you with. It could be a new tool that you need. It could be training. It's something that's outside of your control. It's another business unit that's not responding to you. You really need additional resources. You know, you've got a skill gap. So I understand where you're coming from, but the intent of what we're trying to do is the team first identifies what they can do, and then they identify one thing, and then managers should focus on that. Next question.
Perfecto. Gracias por eso. Cuando una organización ya es madura en escalado ágil, ¿cuál es el siguiente paso de enfoque? Asegurar el talento, potenciar el portafolio, asegurar OKRs. ¿Cuál sería tu recomendación? Esta pregunta también es de Adriana.
Good question, Adriana. Adriana, we have the organization do the assessment, the enterprise business agility assessment, because one, we want them to learn about these 7 areas of investment. Some companies don't know, Adriana. Some of them, they did Agile and then they heard about SAFe, and then they did Scaled Agile and then they heard about Lean Portfolio Management. They're, oh, we got to do that one. And then they said, oh, it's digital transformation and DevOps. They don't realize all of them are necessary. So we actually recommend that you do a real assessment and you bring the real leaders together, and then you have them decide out of all these areas that we just learned around for the next 6 months or for the next year, where should we focus? And that's why I can't give you one answer, because we do this all the time. And in that workshop, some leaders say outcome-based planning is our #1 priority. Other companies have said org design. If we can't get our teams to work together in the right design, then we're wasting time. American Express, they said product discovery. And we have too much work coming to us. And if we don't do product discovery and validation, we're not going to reduce the amount of work that's coming at the top of the funnel. So I'm just saying every company, based on their current pain points and where they are, they have, some companies say leadership. I mean, some companies have told me, leadership is broken here. And if we do not fix leadership, none of this is going to work. We've got negative leaders, executives that are not bought in. If we don't start there, so that's why I believe in starting with a real assessment in a workshop and letting the leaders that are in that company make a decision on which ones they want to improve, building a roadmap, and then moving forward. Good question, Adriana.
Bueno, seguimos hablando de temas organizacionales, transversales. Las personas quieren saber más acerca de eso y nos pregunta María Andrea, ¿cómo crear una cultura ágil? ¿Cuáles serían esas 3 recomendaciones claves que nos podrías dar para trabajar en crear esa cultura ágil?
Culture always, and I know people are going to be mad at me at saying this, but culture starts from the top. When I go into a company, I look at how the leaders behave and how they speak, and it immediately tells me what kind of culture I'm going to see. And I'm not saying that your managers can't protect you and create a culture in a bubble, and so you as a team might have a really healthy culture, but the system around you. So I would say that to create an agile culture, it starts with leadership agility and making sure that leaders themselves and demonstrating the right traits that creates an agile culture, which the most important is psychological safety, so that people can be open and honest and say what they want to say and not be afraid of reprimand. Second, I think an agile culture is created by a learning culture. I think that if you become an organization that really values learning, and you've got your amazing partner, IC Agile, I don't know if you know, but IC Agile has a learning roadmap by role. Every single role within an organization has a learning roadmap that they can, and so I believe that creating a learning organization and having everybody invest in learning, and showing that from the very top, from the executive saying, I'm learning, I'm coming to this workshop, I'm going to come to this workshop, these are the books we're going to read together. So if I had to pick the top, 2, it would be leadership agility and leaders demonstrating agility and creating a learning culture so that all of us are in this together. And I'm just the last thing, because you said 3, so I'll give you the third one, results. Nothing beats results, business results, just delivering value predictably. If you are delivering value, you're going to have best friends on your business side. Your executives are going to cheer you on. It's going to be an amazing agile culture. But if you do all the other stuff, but you're not delivering value, no one's going to get excited.
Total, no puedo estar más de acuerdo que algo clave es hablar en el lenguaje de la alta dirección para que ellos sean los principales movilizadores. Y los resultados, ese es el lenguaje común que debe entregar nuestra transformación, sin duda alguna. Y qué bueno recordarlo aquí. Monse Jiménez te pregunta, Sally, ¿consideras que la pandemia o la pospandemia, el mundo durante la pandemia o pospandemia, está siendo un desafío a las transformaciones o las está ayudando a acelerar? ¿Cómo están asumiendo las organizaciones este tema?
Oh, my friend, it has put fire. It has accelerated transformations beyond words. It has, because every company that was thinking about agile and do I need to do digital and let me take my time, they had no choice with the pandemic. No, you do it now. Like now, you have to build a new product now. You have to move everybody to the cloud now. So almost all of our customers, I would say first they froze, didn't know what to do. Then they laid everybody off. Then they cut a lot of cost. And then they reorged and moved people around. And now they're hiring and now they're funding transformation. So I would say, you know, finally, I'm starting to see the pendulum come back again. But I would say that it was a boot camp in business agility is what pandemic was. It was a boot camp. It was almost like we taught companies, whether they wanted to learn or not, how in 1 year or a year and a half to be agile and to really understand business agility.
Total. Y este evento, aunque es Mujeres y Agilidad Empresarial, también han venido muchos caballeros y muchos hombres a estar aquí en esta charla. Así que Héctor Hugo te pregunta, gracias por la charla. Mi duda es qué valor agregado me da Agility Health cuando tengo transformaciones SAFE, otras con DA y diversos marcos que ya te proponen una evaluación de madurez. Si ya tienen esa evaluación de madurez, ¿por qué debería hacer uso de los assessments de Agility Health?
Oh, okay, got it. Scaled Agile is a framework. So it basically tells you what to do and how to do it. The Disciplined Agile also is a framework. It's a model. It tells you what to do and how to do it. Scaled Agility Health is a platform. It's like you using Jira, right? So just to show you an example of what Agility Health does, if this is your company, we organize you into portfolios. Portfolios are organized into product lines, and then there are teams. So what does Agility Health do? It helps you understand at the team level, at the product level, at the portfolio level, are you actually getting better over time? Are you performing over time? And what is it that we should do to get better? So all of those assessments that I mentioned to you, all of those radars, and also business outcomes, by the way, I mentioned to you business outcomes and OKR, that's also within the platform. So I really want to make sure when you leave here, you don't think that we're a framework, because we're not. We are actually partners with Scaled Agile and Disciplined Agile and all of them, but we provide the measurement, the continuous improvement. Where am I, how am I doing, and where is it that I can improve? And this could be at the team level, it could be at the organizational level, using the various radars that we have. So this is an example of, 8 or 10 different teams that have all taken their assessment together. And I can now see from a data perspective that the product owner role is struggling across multiple areas. And so data-driven decision-making is what we are passionate about. But you can use SAFE, you can use Disciplined Agile, you can use your own internal method. That is really up to you. What we care about is measurement and continuous improvement. And so we are the platform that does that. But good question.
Genial. Siguen creciendo las preguntas, Sally. Déjame saber cuánto tiempo pudiéramos estar de continuo. ¿Hay más preguntas?
Let's take one more, no problem.
So, déjame ver. Ok, creo que esta recoge varias que están también en el panel y es, ¿por dónde podríamos empezar la agilidad empresarial, Business Agility? ¿Cuál sería un muy buen primer paso? ¿Algún departamento específicamente? IT, HR, los líderes los líderes de más alto nivel dentro de la organización, los equipos. ¿Cómo nos recomendarías tú dar ese primer paso?
I'm going to tell you just from reality, like the companies that are coming to us right now, we are always asking them, where is your priority right now? What is the business line that is most critical for your success that you are trying to transform? That is really critical for you. So like, we talk like some of the large banks, they'll say, my gosh, this year, over the next 2 years, we are very focused on our XYZ line of business. We have to build platforms in ABC area. And we say, okay, great. Since that is the most important business value for you, we should start with them and do a business agility seminar overview for the executive and the leaders that are there. And we invite HR. Remember, when you're doing this kind of a webinar, you don't want to just go to IT. You want to bring in technology. You want to bring in your business leaders. You want to bring in whoever from your PMO, your HR leader, your finance. So in any line of business that you're trying to bring business agility to, you want to make sure you have a cross-functional group that's coming to this webinar, that's doing their baseline assessment. Where are they today? And they are the ones deciding what is it that they want to grow. You know, remember that 7 pillars, which of these areas do they want to invest in? If you come to them and you say, I'm smarter than you, and I think you should be doing lean budgeting and lean funding, that's the next thing you should do. They might not say yes. They might say that's not our priority right now. Moving to agile budgeting is very complicated and we're not ready for it, which is why we believe that, you know, ask people, ask the organization, what is your highest priority? Bring the people together, start with education. So when you say, where do I start? Start with education. We normally start with education. The education then does an assessment because then I have data. The assessment, step number 3 is a plan. What are we going to focus on? Then you have permission to execute. But what we do as Agile is sometimes we want to go to number 3. Immediately, bring me HR. I want to teach them Kanban. Whoever told you HR wants to learn Kanban? Did they ever say they want, you know what I mean? We think that Agile business agility is me teaching Scrum and Kanban to the business teams. That is not business agility. That's not business agility. That's just Agile, you know, applied to some business teams. So I want you to really think about, is your goal to apply and teach Agile practices to business teams, or is it to enable business agility? And business agility is a much bigger word than, you know, a few teams learning Agile. I hope that was all helpful for all of you. I have certainly enjoyed my time. I loved this format. And Trisha, I think that, did you send the evaluation?
I did. I sent the evaluation and the link to the Agile videos registration form, so you can register for 7 days free.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Again, just before I leave, I think that feedback is a gift. Have you guys all, I don't know if you've heard about the Fist of 5. The Fist of 5 is basically, 5 means I loved this, 4 means I liked it, 3 means I got some value, but I'm on the fence, and 1 and 2 means I actually didn't get that much value. I'm not going to be hurt, but I would love for you real quickly in the chat to give me a Fist of 5. How was this session for you from a value perspective? Wonderful. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That's good to know. And if there's anything we can improve on, please fill out that evaluation sheet. Can I select a couple people that are going to get the full access? I'd like to select Adriana. She's been very engaged and asked several questions. And then from this list, I think there was also Maria asked a question about the Agile culture. Is that right?
María Andrea. Estamos bien, perfecto. Muchas gracias.
Okay,
Entonces,
great.
Adriana y María Andrea, felicidades. Acaban de ganar un acceso por 1 año completo a la plataforma de Agile Videos. De seguro van a poder aprender demasiado y usar estos recursos que hoy Sally también nos estuvo contando. Sally, quiero abusar 2 minutos de tu tiempo. Estamos recogiendo de todas nuestras panelistas 3 temas. ¿Cuál es el libro que más te ha ayudado en esta ruta y que nos recomendarías a todos leer? ¿Cuál es un podcast o, bueno, aquí también recomendaremos Agile Videos, por supuesto, pero un podcast o otro recurso que nos quisieras recomendar? ¿Y cuál es un referente para ti que también quisieras ayudarnos a ampliar esta gama de referentes en este tema particular de agilidad organizacional?
Wow, there's so many amazing books, but I will tell you the advantage. really is one that I love because it talks about organizational clarity and the role of leader. So from Patrick Lencioni, so I would recommend that book. But I've been influenced. There's another book called Positive Thinking that's really influenced me as well. There's obviously a lot of books on scaling, but I think the ones on leadership are the ones that I'm going to recommend. Okay, and then the other question was podcast, is that right? So obviously definitely go to Agile Videos, but my friend Evan Laybourne on the businessagilityinstitute.com has such amazing resources for learning about business agility as well. So I really think that, you know, just following him would really be great, and looking at some of their, I also love the lady that does the Mobius loop. Her name is Gabriella. I don't know if you've heard about Gabriella. She does the Mobius loop, which is discover, you know, how to discover before you deliver with lean product management. I think Gabriella is awesome. And so definitely, and of course, Lisa Atkins. I mean, if you talk about a role model, Gabriella Benningfield. Gabby, she goes by Gabby Benningfield, Gabriella Benningfield. So that's another person I would follow to learn. In terms of role models, I just love Lisa Atkins. I love her spirit. I love her heart. I love how she's taught so many Agile. Lisa Atkins. There's so many. There's so many, but Lisa Atkins, there's Joanna Rothman. I mean, there's so many, but you want me to give you one? I think, you know, Lisa is a very inspiring Agile leader. Yes. Lisa Atkins.
Muchas gracias, y por supuesto sigan por favor también las redes y el perfil del LinkedIn de Sally, también lo hemos estado compartiendo en el chat con ustedes para que sigamos todo este contenido tan vigente acerca de agilidad organizacional. Sally, de nuevo muchas gracias por estar aquí, por estar en Latinoamérica y darnos la oportunidad de acercarnos a ustedes, a Agility Health, a IC Agile. De verdad que ha sido muy valioso para nosotros y nos estamos viendo en una próxima ocasión. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Take care, everybody. Buenas noches.